Hello everyone and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. I'm going to talk about our project and several other projects that we're working on in the end of this presentation, but the topic today is the decay of truth from ancient times to modern days. The topic touches on psychology and technology as well. If we count together the digital revolution today is writing actually the third chapter of humanity's information history, standing in the brink of an era associated with destruction, more destruction than creation. Truth, it has become a chameleon, adapting to the colors of our tribe, whatever that is. Welcome to the age of information apocalypse. Truth is no longer what is factually verifiable. Truth is in what my team, for example, says. The era of opinion patriotism has begun. And the worst part, it may be exactly what we need. Sure, this sounds contradictory, but truth, or rather it's that, is prerequisite for its rebirth. Like a wildfire preparing the ground for new growth, the truth, this third information crisis clears the way for a better, clearer reality. A final hope, though history provides evidence of its justification. But let's rewind. So what was the first information crisis? Between 8000 and 2000 BC, writing emerged. It was an invention that would radically alter the course of human history. But what did it bring us at first? A new level of expression, poetry, philosophy, visionary ideas? No, it brought lists, administrative bureaucracy, tax records. Writing did not mark the beginning of freedom or inspiration, but rather the establishment of control. The earliest use of writing was a technological solution to a fundamental problem: managing surpluses in an increasingly complex agrarian society. As cities and trade emerged in human societies, it became impossible to organize a community's wealth solely through oral traditions or simple counting methods. Writing created a new order, but it also established an exclusive class, that of the scribes. These scribes held unparalleled power. They were the guardians of knowledge, the creators of rules, and the intermediaries between the rulers and the rest of the society. The written word became an instrument of authority. In a world where only few had access to this tool, information turned into a currency, hoarded, protected, and wielded as a weapon of power. So knowledge become a resource and a weapon at the same time. Writing opened up new possibilities, but also created divisions um, in a society where information was not accessible for everyone, but instead kept in secrecy. Knowledge became a resource and a weapon. The rules that affected the majority uh, were defined and interpreted by this minority of the scribes. The ignorance of the masses was the key to the power of the few. This monopoly on knowledge was humanity's first information crisis. It teaches us a fundamental lesson. Knowledge is not a gift, it's a tool that, in the wrong hands, can easily be used for oppression and manipulation. The year 1450 marks the invention of the printing press, and often romanticized as the dawn of the Enlightenment. In truth, however, the first act of this technological revolution was far less illuminating. The printing press initially served as a catalyst for division, violence, and chaos. Its first bestsellers are propaganda pamphlets, flyers calling for witch burnings, printed works that fueled the conflict of the 30 Years' War, a war that claimed the lives of one-third of the Central Europe's population. The power of the printing press lay in its ability to disseminate ideas quickly and widely. Um, Yet, this new challenge and channels of information also became conduits for hatred and fear. At a time when society was deeply fractured, religiously, politically, and culturally, this groundbreaking technology was used less for education or enlightenment and more for amplifying conflict. The simple mechanisms that revolutionized printing suddenly made it possible to spread scapegoating and hostility in ways previously unimaginable. It took centuries for the printing press to fully realize its potential for education and democratization. While the technology democratized the spread of knowledge, it also highlighted a fundamental truth. Technology is neither inherently good or bad. It is a neutral lever, and its impact depends on how we choose to wield it. The early users of the printing press understood this in their own way. For the powerful elite of that time, it was a means of extending control and influence. For religious and political movements, it was a tool for mobilization. But for the general population, it was initially a generator of uncertainty and fear, an amplifier of voices that stoked a division rather than resolving it. Every revolution begins chaotically, and the printing press was no exception. Its introduction teaches us that progress is not a linear journey. It is a process marked by conflicts, mistakes, and lessons learned. Technology does not automatically solve problems, it brings with it new challenges. The printing press was a tool that fundamentally reshaped society, but it took time to collectively and collective efforts to tame its destructive side and unlock its potential for common good. Only with the spread of education and gradual civilizing of public discourse could the printing press fully realize its transformative power, from disseminating scientific discoveries to fostering individual rights and political participation. So, what is the third information crisis? Real-time data and fragmented realities. The digital revolution, welcome to the chaos of the present. Everything happened in real time. Our feet, our minds, overwhelmed by stimuli. Knowledge disintegrates. Context no longer exists. Our perception splinters into fragments. Connections dissolve, and reality becomes a sea of impulses. Artificial intelligence actually accelerates this process further. What does truth mean when a machine can invade or construct facts in milliseconds? What remains when every piece of information passes through an algorithm that optimizes it, not for a reality, but for attention? And this is where you might think, wait a minute, this can be a good news. But it is, or rather it could be. Why the death of truth is an opportunity? Social media has perfected the decay of truth, its business model, anger, division, tribalism. Your truth is only interesting as long as it exposes the falsehood of others. But what happens when this filter hovels become so perfect that there is no friction left? When everyone solely and only speaks in their own echo chambers. Boredom, and where boredom arises, influence ends. The complete collapse of shared truth is necessary to rebuild it, because only in loss do we realize its value. Yes, the death of truth is painful, but like a broken home that grows back stronger, growth is impulsive without crisis. And the third information crisis is not an end, but just a transition. So, what is our task? Our task, as I believe, is design the future. Nostalgia, a cotton candy of memories that looks sweet but gives you nothing. A cheap comfort for those unwilling to shoulder the present or shape the future. Sure, the past is convenient, but while you stare at old photos, convincing yourself everything was better back then, the challenges of the future are speeding past you like a high-speed train. So here is actually the harsh truth. The rear view mirror may look nice, but it doesn't point you forward. If you want to move ahead, you have got to cut the anchors of the past. Yes, even the so-called good old days, and step into the unknown. No guarantees, no safety net, no going back. Uncomfortable? Welcome to the real life. Charity is not an option, but a duty. It's your job, no, your then responsibility to create clarity where chaos once reigned. But clarity isn't just cleaning out an old closet, it's inventing an entirely new system, building a framework that doesn't crumble the moment the next storm hits. So here is a reality check. Order isn't a straight line, it's a balancing act, a damn tightrope walk where you'd better be flexible if you don't want to fall. Anything else is just wishful thinking. A new reality needs courage, not applause. It's time to stop pitching up the old and start building something new, a reality that is less noisy. Sorry, no room for the loud mouths of the dark corners of the internet. A world that is less tribal. Yes, that means not framing everything as my team versus your team. Less hate, less division, and more humanity. Sounds utopian? Maybe, but the alternative is a backyard full of mistrust and bickering. And maybe, just maybe, in this new world we can reclaim truth. Not the old monolithic truth carved in stone, but the truth that is shared, fragile, yet real. A truth born from listening, learning, and genuine connection. And with this said, I'm ending this educational presentation, and I'm coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web and project and several other projects. But first, the Decentralized Web project builds a decentralized communication advertising platform. As I just said, it's monetized through advertising. The project has its own blockchain instance, and this blockchain instance gives rewards for users who are joining our decentralized network platform. It also rewards users for inviting other users to join and become new users on our platform, and also it rewards our users for viewing advertisement. But advertising is very permissive, and the user has to click to advance from one net to another. I also want to mention that the meaning of decentralization that we put on our platform is different than the meaning that blockchain technology puts in decentralization. In our view, decentralization has multiple and fundamental flaws that prevents it to become a driver for decentralization. In our implementation of decentralization, what we actually do is we offer decentralization as a direct communication between user to user without going through a third party, namely a web server or a central point which collects information and then it distributes back to the participants. So what we do is just a direct communication from user to user without going through other intermediaries. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is decentralizedweb.org. Decentralized and web, these are two words. They're put all together then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, decentralizedweb.org. With this said, I'm going to the second project that we did develop and release. It is a marketplace and collection of NFTs based on three-dimensional objects. With three-dimensional objects, we have to with three-dimensional objects, there has to be special software which reads the file of the 3D object, then it displays this 3D object in a way that is possible to manipulate it. Usually creators of 3D objects, they use special software, and there are two very popular choices. One of them is called Unity and the other one is called Unreal. But from the very beginning in our project, we decided to build our own 3D software engine. And what this software engine does, it reads the file of the 3D object, then it opens a window on a computer screen, then it displays the 3D object in this window it open, and then our 3D software engine starts animating the 3D NFT in a way of moving it in a random fashion around the window. But in addition to these initial and basic capabilities, our 3D software engine has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D NFTs, our 3D software engine, is the capability of speaking. The 3D NFTs can speak in one of three different voices. The 3D NFTs can speak either in a male voice or in a female voice or in a whisper kind of a voice. In addition to these three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken in a normal speed fashion, or in a fast speed fashion, or in a slow speed fashion. So if we take a male voice and it is spoken in a slow speed fashion, then this voice can come as the voice of a very masculine person or the voice of an old person. If, on the other hand, we take a female voice and it is spoken in a fast speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a funny person or the voice of a little girl. The next additional and important capability is that of voice recognition. Our 3D software engine can recognize voice commands, and for example, if we have a 3D NFT moving in a random fashion around the window, then we can issue our very first voice command to the 3D NFT to stop moving. And then the 3D NFT is going to stand still and stop moving. Then we can issue following voice commands to the 3D NFT to move left, move right, move up, move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And then the 3D NFT is going to fulfill each one of these separate voice commands and move left, then move right, move up, then move down, come closer, zoom in, go further away, zoom out, and start rotating. The next additional important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them having basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. You can ask the 3D NFT, who are you? And then the 3D NFT is going to reply in few sentences of who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT, what is your name? And then the 3D NFT is going to reply with their name. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something For example, describe Web3 or describe decentralization or describe Russia. And then the 3D NFT is going to describe about Web3 or decentralization or the country called Russia. The last additional but not least important capability of the 3D NFTs is the capability of them being displayed in a way of stereoscopics. What stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or cyan colors. Then you can come to the website and the URL of our 3D NFT marketplace and website, and probably now is the time to tell you the name and the URL of this website. It is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3dnft is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters NFT. And it is typed all together 3D NFT. Then there is dot, and then there are two words, decentralized and web. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. On the top of the website you can see the number of links. One of these links points to links to accessories, and when you click on this link you're going to see that we are offering special glasses. You can order one pair of these glasses, and when you receive these glasses you're going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of these glasses is blue cyan. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request displaying the 3D NFT in a way of stereoscopics, and you're going to see the 3D NFT is coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I'm ending talking about our 3D NFT software engine and our collection of 3D NFTs. And I like to tell you a little bit about our 3D NFT marketplace. In our 3D NFT marketplace, we have our own blockchain instance. This blockchain instance runs Ethereum software, and it is the same software which runs on Ethereum mainnet. It runs on Binance Smart Chain. It runs on Avalanche Avax chain. It runs on Polygon Matic chain, and it runs on many other famous or not so famous blockchains in existence. By having our own blockchain instance, then we do not require our users to pay gas fees for deployments of the smart contracts for the non-fungible tokens, and we do not charge our users gas fees for a transaction and a transfer of ownership from one user to another user. Also, by having our own blockchain instance, then we allow our users to buy our 3D NFTs in multiple crypto coins, and the current choices of crypto coins used for purchase of our 3D NFTs include Solana Sol, it includes Polygon Matic, it includes Avalanche Avax, and it includes Qcoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. It has a coin called KCS. With this said, I like to tell you about a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. So let's say you are a user, you come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you click on one of our 3D NFTs, and when you want to purchase this 3D NFT, you're going to see like a short video of this 3D NFT as it is moving, and then below this there is a drop down menu which asks you to select method of payment between 4 crypto coins and the fifth choice of paying with fiat currency. So let's say you select payment with fiat currency, and on the next screen you're going to be presented with like a screen where you can put the number of your debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and when you click on the button to complete the transaction, what is going to happen is there is going to be a conversion from your national fiat currency to US dollars, and this transaction is going to be deposited in our bank account in US dollars. Then we are going to follow this with transaction and transfer of ownership, the initial ownership from our 3D NFT marketplace to you, and now you become the first user of this 3D NFT. You can play with this 3D NFT for a while, and then at some point you can decide to put this 3D NFT for sale. So let's say there is a second user, they come to our 3D NFT marketplace, they browse through the collection of our 3D NFTs, and then let's say they like in particular the 3D NFT that you put for sale. They're going to go through the same motions of choosing between payment with crypto coins and fifth choice of payment with fiat. Let's say they select payment with fiat, and then they put the number of their debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and complete the transaction. What is going to happen is there's going to be a conversion from their national fiat currency, which could be different than your national fiat currency and different than US dollars, and this payment is going to be converted to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. Then there is going to be a transaction and transfer of ownership from you to the second user, and now the second user becomes the owner of this 3D NFT. Then we are going to do a transaction and transfer and conversion from US dollars to your national fiat currency, and the payment for the sale of the 3D NFT is going to be deposited in your bank account in your national fiat currency. With this said, I'm ending talking about this second project. I'd like to mention this third project that we are working on, and this third project is about building of charging products for the exponential growing number of electric vehicles. Currently, handling of charging of electric vehicles is handled in a way of similar to the way internal combustion engines are loaded with fuel. Internal combustion engines, they come to places called gas stations where they connect the fuel hose to their gas tank of their vehicle. They start loading fuel, they pay for the fuel loaded, then they wait, then they leave the gas station. In the same way, um, owners of electric vehicles, they come to places with charging stations, which has number of columns of electric vehicle chargers. They connect electric cable to their electric vehicle. They identify themselves to the charger. They started loading energy in their electric vehicle. They wait for a while their electric vehicle is charging, and then they pay for the electric power loaded in their electric vehicle, and they leave. But we estimate that the number of these charging stations is going to become ultimately insufficient, and what we're proposing is what we call it parking lot model, which is an alternative to the current gas station model, so-called. In the model, we are proposing the parking lot model. The owners of electric vehicles which are living in high-rise or medium or apartment buildings, these buildings have a ground floor of parking lot or multiple floors of underground parking lots. We're proposing mounting of charging products like the ones we're building in these apartment buildings, so that owners of electric vehicles, when they come in the evening from work, they can connect electric cable, one of the electric cables of a single charger that we are going to manufacture and provide, and they're going to identify themselves to the charger. They could request charging of their electric vehicle, and they could leave the electric vehicle to charge during the evening, during the night, and early morning, while the owner of this electric vehicle is at home in this residential apartment building. But in the same way, owners of electric vehicles, they could be working in high-rise or medium-rise or like multiple floor office buildings. And in the same way, these office buildings could be outfitted with a ground floor of parking lot or multiple underground floors of parking lot. Then these office buildings could mount charging products in the same way, and then they could, like the owner of electric vehicle, when they come in the morning for work in this office building, they could connect electric cable to their electric vehicle. They could request charging of their electric vehicle. They could identify themselves to the charger, and then they could leave the electric vehicle to charge during the morning, afternoon, and early evening, while they're at work at this office building. With this said, I'd like to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is power.arstack.com. Power is the ordinary word for power, then there is dot, then there is a word which I can spell it letter by letter. It is Alpha, Romeo, Sierra, Tom, Echo, Charlie, Hotel. All together Arstack. Then there is dot and it ends with com. Once again power.arstack.com. In the main page of our website of this project, there are 3 different surveys. One of them is about hardware, the other one is about software, and third one is about features. You can fill one of or all of these surveys, and this is going to tell us about needs that you have and where could potentially build a new product or customize the existing product to fit your need for electric vehicle charging products. With this said, I like to point additionally to an article which describes in very big detail, and this article is called gas station model versus parking lot model. This article outlines our vision for the products that we're building, and it describes in detail about the electric vehicle charging products, which include Wi-Fi connection capability. It includes near-field communication capability so that the user could identify themselves by their debit credit card or near-field communication card or a keychain token or a ring. It includes high voltage and high current electric switch, and it includes like current measuring device which could measure the electric vehicle charged in, loaded and charged in the electric vehicle. And it could also assure that this owner of electric vehicle is going to be properly built for the electric vehicle they charge through our charging products. With this said, I like to tell you about the next project that we're working on. It's about building artificial intelligence agents, and this project is called AI to AI. In this project, there are 2 different artificial intelligence entities, and these artificial intelligence entities are based on different artificial intelligence large language models. Each of these entities is outfitted with their own gender, their own voice, which they can speak, and their own avatar. And the user, for example, you could request the initial capability of each one of these artificial intelligence agent entities. For example, the first AI entity could be, you could specify it to be very seductive, and the first AI entity could be outfitted with female gender, female avatar, and female voice to speak with. And the second AI entity could be outfitted with male gender, male voice, male avatar, and you can request it to be, for example, very angry. So then when you start this interaction, you're going to observe and notice interaction as the first AI entity to try to seduce the first AI female entity, trying to seduce the second male AI entity, and the second male AI entity is going to reply in an angry way to the first AI entity. So that's in short our AI entity project. With this, I like to tell you the name and the URL of this project. It is ai2ai.decentralizedweb.org. AI to AI is typed in a way of the letter A followed by the letter I followed by the number 2 followed by two other letters A and I, and it is all together AI to AI. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized web, then there is dot, and it ends with org. Once again, AI to AI dot decentralizedweb.org. With this said, I like to tell you about the last project that we work on. The last project is about building capabilities similar to the capabilities of projects like OpenAI entity project called Grok, which builds a browser where the user could continuously use this browser, and the browser could keep recording the interactions of the user and then automate these interactions. In a similar way, we're not going to release a browser, but we're going to release an agent with similar capabilities, which could request the interactions, which could record the interactions of user with a browser or with a program on a computer, and then these recorded interactions could be labeled in like with a specific label, for example, buying food item, or buying an airplane ticket, or requesting tickets for concerts, for example. And then you, the user, when you request the agent to buy a ticket for a concert, the agent could go through the step automatically, and on the last step you just need to confirm this purchase, and it is going to be very permissive and in the same time saving you time and the step through going through the motions one by one through a specific website or through a specific program. With this said, I'm ending this presentation. Thank you for viewing, thank you for listening. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and goodbye.